So what's up? I wanted to show you guys this mouse I picked up off Amazon. It was only like 14 bucks or 17 or something like that. I don't know. Under $20, but uh to me, the best deal on a gaming mouse under $20 for sure. It's called a Mazer. It's actually the Mazer II. I guess it's kind of a rip off of Razer, which the Razer Naga, which is pretty much the same thing as this, will run you about 70 bucks. So, you know, if you're not that into it, or I guess if you're like a Razer fanboy or something like that, but this is a good way to get a real good quality mouse for like a third of the price, a quarter of the price. So, I got the wireless version because all I have is a laptop, and it just makes more sense to me than carrying around a mouse with a cumbersome cord on it that just takes up another one of your USB ports, which I'm only using one of them right now, and that's for the mouse dongle, but I use all of mine pretty regularly. This is the box it came in, which is pretty sturdy. You know, it's got 4 clips, so there's no way it'll just come open by accident, and they're pretty tough clips. Ugh, too tough. Anyway, on the front of the box, you can see like all the specs and everything. It talks about the stylish thumb rest first, which is really pretty cool, but it's a little bit far back if you have, medium-sized hands. It seems pretty far back from the buttons, but nah, it just depends on what you prefer, I guess. And it tells you, well, all of the more in-depth specs, like the dimension, the weight, all that. It shows the resolution, which is the DPI, and it's got 4 DPI settings, and the way you determine your DPI setting, it lights up when you turn it on. That's the 3rd level, which is only 2 flashes. And then the 4th level is 3, which is 2500 DPI. Push it again, it won't flash at all. That'll be 500, which is really slow. And that is 1000. And I typically have it at 1800 because it just feels more natural to me. That's the 3rd level, is 2 flashes. And it just works better, but you can slow it way down. Like go clear back down to 500 or whatever if you need to do something really accurate, like Photoshop or something like that. Or if you're playing like an FPS game and you don't want to have to move the mouse very far to turn or aim or whatever, you can put it on 2500 and it just flies. It's crazy how fast it moves. It does have a feature where if you let it sit for a period of time, I don't know how long it is, probably like 5 minutes, and you don't do anything with it, it'll automatically shut off and save battery, which is nice. And that's probably why, if you read the Amazon reviews and stuff, people get like 18 months out of the standard batteries that come with it. And for one thing, they must not use the lights very much, which I'll show you in a second. But for another thing, if you just turn it on and let it sit, you can let it sit all night. It'll just shut off for 5 minutes and pretty much be off all night. And to wake it up, you can't just move it and wake it up. You got to click and it'll wake up, which is kind of nice because if you bump it, it's not going to like wake up and be killing the battery and all that. So that's nice. So here's with the lights on. On the back, even the part where it says Mazer lights up, which Mazer makes me think is why I think it might be a knockoff of Razer, but whatever, doesn't matter. It's a really cool mouse. Lighted scroll wheel even, which is way cool to me. I mean, it's pretty bright for just being a scroll wheel and what's probably going to shine the most. I mean, it'll light up a wall, but you know, it looks pretty cool at night. And if it ever gets annoying, you can just shut it off. You know, don't get on there and bash it. Like, but the lights are too bright, it really annoys me. Shut them off. But it is really cool. Kind of sets the gaming environment. A little bit different atmosphere. It is a laser mouse, so you know, pretty much any surface it'll work on. I've got just a crappy mouse pad that I found. I ordered a mouse pad that actually matches this, and it'll be here sometime next week. I might do a video on it too, but it's supposed to be a really good mouse pad, even for not this mouse. But there's a QR code on there. I don't know what it goes to, but it's pretty straightforward how to use it. So you really don't need the instructions that are in here because, well, for one thing, you most likely won't be able to read them because they're in Chinese. And for another thing, it's plug and play, really. I mean, you plug in the dongle and let it install the driver. You don't have to do anything. You just let it install and just sit there for a minute. And do that with the mouse off, and then when you turn the mouse on, it'll be ready to go. And just as far as quality and feel and weight and everything, I'm not a gamer by any means. I mean, I do a couple things on my computer that this is really nice for, but as far as any mouse that I've ever used, this is definitely the best you can get for like $14, $17, something like that. And the mouse pad that matches it is $7 also. So, you know, it's probably going to be your best choice unless you want to spend $70 on a Razer Naga or something like that. It does pretty much the same thing. And you know, the adjustable DPI is really nice. You can set it for whatever you need it for, whatever is more practical. You don't have a mouse that's just set and that's all you get. It's got a really nice finish. Like, it's a matte finish up here, kind of a soft touch plastic. And then on the back, it's glossy. On the thumb rest, it's soft touch, so that you won't be sitting there and like your thumb keeps slipping off or whatever if you're really into something. And it's got a grip that basically goes all the way around, which is pretty nice. So all in all, I think this would be your best bet if you're looking for a really good mouse right now, but you don't want to spend much money. You probably want to just go with the Mazer Type R2. They have a wired version too, but you can get wireless. The wired version looks a little bit different. I think it's gray back here, and you don't have as many lights on it, which some people might prefer. Like, I don't think these lights are there on the wired version. But other than that, you know, it's real good quality mouse for a real good price. 2500 DPI, like I've said, somewhere on here, right there, 3000 FPS is what is the refresh rate on the laser. So it picks up movement instantly. There's no lag in the mouse or anything like that. The button click, you know, feels pretty good and it's not too loud. The wheel is pretty light, but not so light that you're going to be scrolling it just by moving the mouse. I mean, if you bump it with your finger and you're like moving your hand or something, you'll probably scroll. But other than that, that's pretty much the whole deal. It works really well. I've had it for about a week. Nothing's gone wrong so far. So this would be what I suggest. I decided to make a video of it because the only videos I could find were either people that you couldn't hardly understand or that just kind of jumbled things around, and they were like, it's got 2500 FPS and you can play really high frame rate games and all that, and I'm just like, it's not what it means. So thought I'd give the specs as I understood them. It feels good. It's not like extremely heavy, but it's not so light that it feels cheap, you know. Like, this is a cheap Walmart mouse, and it's extremely light, even with the batteries in it. And I really don't like the buttons, and it's a lot smaller too. But like I said, this would be my suggestion to anybody who's looking for basically a Razer mouse but doesn't want to pay Razer price.